ravaged by immigration. Because they made it seem like it's this huge issue. When it's just not.
And by the way, I'm not being racist.
Okay, so we're on the right track here. We're on the right track here. This is like Trudeau just has aura, unfortunately. You literally cannot deny Trudeau's aura. If he's in blackface, aura. He's in some Indian garb, aura.
Nuke the hospitals now.
That was awesome though. It's cool. It was so cool that Chleepy's going down like the Great Replacement. It's very awesome. So, guys, the other day. In fact, let's do the full context here, okay? The other day, you may remember, I was talking about Indians on stream, and there was a clip from that stream where I mentioned that one Discord user by the name of Chronic, who's Indian, said he didn't want to have Indian kids because he doesn't want to put them through what he went through. I saw Chronic. I saw a message from Chronic in Icy Chat the other day. Oh, am I allowed to leak stuff from there? Am I allowed to do it while I get banned if I say what Chronic said in there? Chronic, can you repeat what you said about having kids? Chronic, can you repeat in chat what you said about having kids in Icy the other day? Chronic is Bangladeshi. Chronic is Bangladeshi, and I saw him say something like that he didn't want to have kids because he didn't want them to go through what he has to. Or some shit. So yeah, Chronic has been talking about how it feels to be Indian a lot lately. He's been kind of in his feelings. And it got a little bit worse, as I understand. I didn't really see what happened exactly. But my understanding is, Chronic, you know, had a falling out with someone and basically left a lot of places, mainly Aiden's Discord, as I understand it. And went and started complaining to other people about, you know, sort of how he felt he was treated. Feels Indians are treated. And people were saying, like, you're being a bitch and all this stuff. And he's like, oh, I am. It was just like, it's a bit... He runs this account, by the way. He runs this clipping account. Great at clipping. Great clipper. We love Chronic's clipping. But he was going through a tough time, obviously. He was feeling a bit rejected. He was feeling a bit, you know, upset. He was feeling a bit sensitive. So, as I understand, as he, you know, goes wandering after... Yeah, people check he's okay. He goes sort of wandering to other Discords, you know, looking for somewhere he might feel at home. And one of the places he ends up, one of the places he lands, Chleepy's Discord. And he asks Chleepy this. Now, obviously, he has to verify his phone number with Discord to get into Chleepy's Discord, because Chleepy has bizarre rules. He asks Chleepy, I wanted to ask you if you believe Canadians are actually getting replaced. Chleepy says, it's not a believe thing, it's stats. First-gen Indian Canadians were being shipped in at an insane rate over the last 7 years, especially. New government has slowed that down, thankfully. And we've seen 30k non-permanent residents go home in my province alone. But it's undeniable that we brought too many, too fast, all of one culture and race. The issue in particular is that with Indians, their tendency not to assimilate. Very cliquey, very in-group, out-group. And culturally, a lot of them believe in the caste system, whether consciously or not. I'm not going to get into all of my opinions on their behaviours or customs, but it's a problem when you bring in a large amount of people that can outbreed your current populace, especially when that new group doesn't particularly care for, like, or respect the people that made the country what it is. So, to summarise, they're probably going to outnumber Black, White, Arab and East Asian Canadians within 10 to 20 years, and they'll have a lot of political power. And given how the country of India looks and operates, I'm not entirely enthused by that possibility. Okay. I don't really know where to start with that, but we'll move on to the next message. So, Chronic then asks him, so do you believe in the Great Replacement theory? I mean, only the theory some other guy wrote to justify what I'm looking at. It's pretty clear that my country is demographically shifting, crying face. God forbid Israel's demographic shift, though, right, guys? So, Chleepy feeling some anxiety about demographic shifts in Canada. I would say, personally, I wouldn't just own the Great Replacement thing, I don't think. But this does actually line up with something I saw recently. Fuentes spoke about this just the other day. He gave sort of like a version of the Great Replacement that is like supposed to be like honed to not be totally insane. So let's take a look at that.
Of the browning of America and every other white country. Get out of it. Is it mainly a civilizational battle or are there other specific objectives? I hope this isn't retarded, but I imagine you will have the best insight on the subject.
That is retarded. It's many things. There's a word, it's on the tip of my tongue that I'm thinking of, but I can't remember it. But basically, it's all these different interests that are overlapping is what it comes down to. The Democrats want...
To be honest, it's not even, you know, as much about overlapping interests, in my opinion. It's about old people.
Loner box made me a groiper.
Old people both simultaneously want and hate immigrants more than everyone else. Old people want to laze around once they're 65, claiming entitlements from the government, not working, not paying anything into the system, getting fucking healthcare and all this shit, taking out a bunch of fucking money. And then, what? They don't want any of that cut. They don't want any of that cut. They don't want their taxes raised. They don't want fucking anything. They don't want fucking inheritance tax. They don't want fucking anything, okay? And then they fucking cry.
They're the only ones that will show up for work.
Like the $5. And then they fucking cry when you take the obvious step of increasing the labor force to try and remedy this, of increasing the tax base to try and remedy this. They start fucking crying about immigration when you do that. So they won't let you make any changes to their situation to try and offload the burden from the rest of the country, but they also cry when you try and fix it any other way. Fundamentally, that's what it's about. It is about fucking old people. It is about having aging populations, low birth rates, not having an increasing tax base, not having an increasing workforce. And that is the fundamental problem. And that you will always need mass immigration so long as that is the case.
Want the votes, the corporations want the labor, and the government needs the bodies. Okay, look, like when you just look at how society works, our society is set up that it has to be growing all the time. The entitlements, the tax base, the labor pool, it has to always be growing. If you just understand the mechanics of how any of that works, like take Social Security, for example. I don't know the numbers now, but the ratio of beneficiaries to payees can't be negative or positive. You understand what I'm saying? There has to be more people paying in than receiving benefits. What happens if the population stops growing? You get all these retirees that are very expensive. They retire at age 65, and they're going to get a fixed income from the government and very expensive Medicare and Medicaid and subsidized everything.
So I think it honestly is. It's like total right-wing signaling. It's like pandering almost. I feel like even Fuentes can't believe it when he's saying like Democrats want their voters shipped in or whatever the fuck. Like any of these sort of like more esoteric, what people would see as like subversive political goals with immigration, I think just don't make anywhere near as much sense as the obvious economic incentives. The obvious reality that you just need this labor. You need these taxpayers. You need an increasing population. You need growth. You can't stagnate. It fucks you.
And if there's more of them than there are young people working, society goes bankrupt. And everything's like this. Stock market, real estate, pensions. It's like it's all based on population growth. It's theoretically, the population could shrink, but it would be ruinous. We would enter a permanent recession, truly a managed decline, and there would need to be an incredible intervention to prevent society from totally falling apart. So it's a lot of things coming together, but I think the most imminent driver is labor. They just want the labor. That's really what it comes down to. You know, you look at, for example, when Biden came into office in 2021, he opened the borders. He let in millions of people. What did that coincide with? Major labor shortage. Anybody remember? In 2021, after the pandemic, there was an unbelievable labor shortage, and they had to beg people to come back to work because they were paying people to stay home. They gave people checks. They gave people unemployment. And so people were coasting on the COVID benefits. The young people were living with their parents. They didn't need money. And so I don't know if you remember this, but it was bad. If you were driving around in 21, 22, everywhere you looked, help wanted signs. And they said, we'll pay you $25 an hour. We'll give you $3,000 stipend for college. We'll give you a signing bonus at like McDonald's, at Taco Bell. You would go to restaurants and the restaurant would be empty and they would say, we can't seat you. We don't have enough personnel. So I'm a big believer that they opened up the floodgates. I think that was a big reason. People say, why did Biden open up the borders to illegal immigration? I think a big part of it was to ameliorate the labor shortage after the COVID recession. And I think that's a big part of why they're closing it now, because now unemployment's coming back and now they don't need all these people. So, because that is a form of economic stimulus. If these people come here, they're going to be spending money, they're going to be working some jobs. It's a form of stimulus.
So yeah, I mean, there are a bunch of other issues with immigration too. So yeah, the temporary foreign work stuff. Obviously, people overstay visas and shit, and it's like very difficult. Like there's immigration is like not something countries have like a huge ability to control a lot of the time. It's incredibly cumbersome to identify, round up, deport, go through all the process, everything for people overstaying visas, people illegal immigrating. So mass, like, control of immigration is, like, fucking incredibly difficult to get a real handle on. Governments want to kind of pretend that they can just, like, close their borders and shit like that. It's just not really how it works. So, to go along this, Chleepy's released some videos, okay? We've got 2 Chleepy videos to look at. Oh, and he's just released a video called Total idubbbz Victory. So we'll watch the first one here. So 2 days ago, this video didn't do too bad for him either, which is surprising given what it's about. He uploaded a video called idubbbz Hates White People. Very sad. So let's take a look at this one first.
So a couple weeks ago, idubbbz made this video, Are You Scared of Immigrants? I actually reacted to this video on stream, gave some surface level commentary, but I've been thinking about it a little bit deeper lately. As some of you may or may not know, I live in Canada, okay? I am the son to a first generation immigrant, and I have some opinions on Canadian immigration and the state of Canadian housing and all the other inflationary issues that we are facing as a country.
It's always second gen immigrants.
So saddened to hear that your favorite YouTuber is a Canadian. Listen, when I hear the national anthem, okay, I feel like I am a young boy in church once again. And believe me, I believe that my country, okay, the country that I grew up in, that I was born in, all right, the country that my dad came to as a first-generation immigrant, I think it is beautiful. I think it is amazing. And I think there's a reason why a lot of people want to come here, okay? And I think that people should be allowed to flee their terrible, shitty, butt-fuck countries and come to mine. But I have some problems with how it's been done lately. Now, in idubbbz video, he is pointing out TikTokers that are both documenting and commentating on immigrants coming into European countries and essentially spreading their culture rather than spreading European culture. Now, idubbbz is a pretty good encapsulation of the feelings of the average Canadian, okay? Now, I'm sure the British can agree with this. I'm sure a lot of countries that are being ravaged by immigration, whether through refugees or illegal immigrants.
Ravaged by immigration.
Or whatever. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people can kind of agree with what I'm about to say.
Oh my god.
Doesn't it feel like you have no control over what's going on in your country? You know, there's a lot of people coming to your country, there's nothing you can say or do about it. Like, as a Canadian in my country, I feel like idubbbz, okay? I'm sitting down in this chair, okay, and I'm just watching it happen. I have no control, and I've changed my Irish last name from Washburn to some unrecognizable foreign shit, Jomha.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right, is you actually can't control it. Yeah, that is kind of true. But it's not like if you voted for a super right-wing party that said, we're going to control immigration, it would suddenly be controlled. There just isn't a good solution for that, you know. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, the thing is that... well, I can't even find it. I was going to do the Switch meme. It's the Switch, guys. The immigration is just the Switch. It's all just the Switch. It's all just the Switch. This is like the reform mindset. It's like, we're just gonna press the fix everything easily switch. And everyone's just screaming at them. Everyone's just going crazy at them like, hey, buddy, just get fucked if you're even thinking of pressing that switch. Fuck you. You know? That's what it is. It all comes back to the Switch. You can't easily control immigration. What are reforms proposals for the UK right now? So we're being quote-unquote ravaged by immigration. What are reforms proposals? So we've already got a 40 billion black hole in our finances that we're struggling to fill. So let's dedicate £20 billion to building massive concrete detention centres to house illegal immigrants crossing in small boats, refugees crossing in small boats. What a terrible fucking use of money! What an atrocious use of money! What a fucking horrendous, awful use of money! Why does he want to do that as well? Well, because he's, for some reason, just totally contemptful of the EU. Refuses to work with France, even though that is the obvious solution. The obvious solution is get a policy with France that means that we can instantly return people that arrive in Dover, return them to Calais. And the moment, if everyone was getting sent back to Calais from Dover, no one would be coming. It really is kind of that simple. But that requires cooperation with the EU and France. Canada does at least one switch, end the temporary foreign worker program for anything except specialized jobs. No, you can say, sure, so you can say that would improve the situation. There can be policies that would improve it. But you would still have mass immigration that's coming over in ways that you just simply do not have easy control over. That's the point, right? There are individual policies that you might be able to change that would make things better. Like individual things you could do, like I'll say that, like, you know, boats would probably stop if everyone was getting returned to Calais. That is probably the case. There are things you can do to, but the boats are like a tiny percentage of immigrants. Tiny percentage. It's like, what? I don't even know how many people come over in boats every year. It's like hundreds or something. It's like stupid low. How many refugees, small boats per year, UK? Annual total of 37,000 in 2024. So not hundreds, but thousands. So 37,000 in 2024. Which is what percentage of year 2024? It's hard to tell, obviously, because so much it's overstayed visas. But the point is that fundamentally, it's overstayed visas is what causes a massive amount of people to be here. You get people in small boats, but it's not a big percentage of the people that are here. It's about, a lot of time, overstayed visas, stuff like that, that you're never gonna just, like, get rid of visas. You're never gonna get rid of all temporary visas. There are always gonna be people who find ways to stay in the country past when they're supposed to be. And the thing is that so many places, it's so easy to still work, right? Like, so many businesses are totally fine to hire people for below minimum wage with no proof of right to work. So there is, and it's still better than being in your home country. So there's so much incentive. Labour share the blame too for the average idiot Brit thinking small boats are the main issue. I mean, yeah, obviously, like the whole, you know, in trying to remedy the situation, Labour have essentially ceded the whole debate, right? The whole actual public opinion debate has been ceded because they've made it seem like it's this huge issue when it's just not. But hey.
Now, we're going to get into some real arguments in a second, okay, about why immigration is a bit crazy and it's got to slow down, all right? But before we do that, I like to analyze the delta between what a country is becoming, what it wants to become, and what it is expressing as its advertisements for tourism. When you're telling another country's people that you want them to come visit your country, what are you trying to show them? Now, I've got a couple of ads I want to show you, one from 3 years ago and one from 2 months ago. Let's watch both of these.
Take a journey to a place outside the ordinary, to Canada, where wide open spaces are waiting to greet you.
So we've got some nature, okay, we've got some clean water, we've got some white people, okay?
Where people you just met say, it's nice to see
So everyone on screen so far has been white.
you, and welcome you to their favorite spaces and iconic places.
All right, we got a black fellow, we got some Asians, that's what I like to see.
So when you say
Showing off the true diversity of Canada.
goodbye, it's like saying
Some native stuff going on, which is awesome because the natives have some really cool clothing, cool history, we love to see it.
bye to family. That's when you know it's more than traveling.
And by the way, we showed some shots of Toronto, a notable lack of a certain something that is very present nowadays.
It's Canada. We can't wait to see you.
All right, so that's one tourism ad. Let's see another one. And by the way, I'm not being racist. I'm describing to you what Canada, by the way, this is Destination Canada's official YouTube channel. I'm showing you what they are showing the audience, which is prospective tourists that want to visit Canada. This is what they're showing. This is what Canada's all about. And so don't be surprised if it looks a little different when you show up.
Question. Who are we? What makes Canada, Canada?
Hockey, native people, white people, black people, snow, like, okay, cool.
As a country, we're pretty hard to sum up. And not just because we're really, really, really big, but because we're home to people like this, and also this guy. Seriously, look at this guy. Does he need help? But there's one thing we have in common with each other and with the land we call home. We are open. not just open for business. No, we are open for business. And not just open to visitors. I mean, we are, but it's more than that. We are open as a people, open as a way of life.
Are we noticing a lack of something? Are we noticing anything that is not being shown? All right. We are trying to advertise bringing people in to come hang out, you know, spend some money, do some tourism, find out about Canada.
Okay, and just no Indians. We get it, man. There's no Indians. We get it.
There's something that we don't want to tell people. Sell itself a little of. But then, okay, we're ashamed of it when we want to tell tourists to come in. But when it comes to our own people, our own citizens, this is something that we're not ashamed of. It's not something that's an issue. And in fact, if you think it's an issue, you're racist. Now let's discover a suburb of the GTA, Brampton, Ontario. Let's have a look at this little clip here.
It's like a mini India. Yeah. There are too many Indians here.
We're Canadian. We're multicultural. So come on.
If we're going to their country, we will have to adapt to their culture, right? They should do the same thing here.
Well, I do feel like I'm a stranger in my own country.
Now, again, let's be clear. These are clips of individual people offering their opinion, but obviously they're selected, right? This might not be the opinion of everyone.
80% visible minority. That means it's more than 80% non-white. Well, you break that data down even further, you start to figure out where everyone who lives in Brampton comes from.
Oh, so it's not just people's opinions. It's statistically backed that everyone that lives in Brampton is Indian. I'm not necessarily saying that this is bad, but what I am saying is that you're putting a massive influx of people and completely changing the cultural makeup of a town. Now, it's not just a town issue, okay? And it's not just a culture issue. That is a big deal, and it will affect the way people feel, especially when they're installing massive statues like this in your city, okay? It might make you feel a type of way. One of our biggest issues here in Canada is housing. The fact that we don't build houses, and the fact...
Okay, okay, Chleepy, I just looked this up. Because this is what I immediately do when someone's like, oh, the culture in this area has changed because people do this for London all the time. I go and look this up. And apparently Brampton, Ontario has always been an immigrant community. And it's literally been like a South Asian immigrant community specifically since the 80s. So, look, I don't know this is a good example.
Fact that we have so many fucking people that have come in that housing prices are fucking inflated, okay? Most young Canadians have no expectation of ever buying a house. Couple that with the fact that stories like this are not uncommon, okay? I've never heard of 25 students in one basement, but I've heard of 8 living in a room, okay? I've heard of that. The supply of housing has not changed much, but the demand has increased to an unmanageable degree. You have people renting houses for monthly payments that would have been mortgage payments just 8 years ago. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chleepy, you're dumb. You're so silly. Don't you know that, like, immigration is important because you need to keep increasing the productivity of your country in order to pay for all of the expenses of the older people that are dying or going on social aid? To that I ask, where do the old people fucking lose? So we've got these people coming in, all right? They're going to help pay for their social security, all right? That's great. That's important.
Okay. So we're on the right track here. We're on the right track here. This is facts. Fucking old people, man. Fucking old people, man. Holy fuck.
We're not increasing the amount of houses we have. So the old people that are most likely to be owning the houses, all right, the people that were buying their houses back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s for fucking pennies on the dollar compared to today, right? They're able to rent out those houses, own those houses, and perhaps even sell those houses at insane...
Dude, I know... Okay, Amy Thompson, I understand you're in chat desperately trying to be like, I'm not racist, I'm not racist. I know Jay Stalker's racist, okay? Jay Stalker sent me videos. He's like, dude, look at this. And it's like a bunch of Indians lining up at Tim Hortons for a job opening. Like, whoa, so crazy. Jay Stalk was going to get that job, guys. Jay Stalk was going to quit streaming and get that job if those Indians weren't taking it. Okay.
In profit margins, and we're worried about their social security, but a young person buying a home, hit the brakes, pal. Okay, what are you, retarded? We got to worry about the boomers. Now, again, that's just housing prices, okay? It's very simple, supply and demand. Our supply has stayed relatively the same. Our demand has increased insanely. Now let's tackle the culture issue, okay? Normalize spreading European culture. I agree. Buffy. We should normalize that. I know that's not what he's trying to say here, but just go with it. Something as a Canadian you should consider about shifting demographics, okay? Something you should consider as a Canadian is, you know, these...
Okay, sorry, you didn't say you weren't racist, but you're trying to pretend that there's more factual basis for your claims than there is, and the way you're doing that is by pointing to my very racist friend and asking me to check his anecdotes. That's what's happening, okay?
Politicians, all right, they're gonna succeed more and more, all right? If you see them wearing this type of garb, okay, there is a populace that is growing that relates and associates with them. You know, there's a reason why our prime minister at the time, glorious Justin Trudeau, there's a reason why he's wearing this bullshit, all right? And I'm just gonna be honest, I'm calling it bullshit. I don't fuck with this. Is that offensive? Is that fucked up? I don't fuck with this. This ain't drip. This sucks. I don't fuck with the drip. Take it off.
No, this is based. This is just another base Trudeau moment. This is just another base Trudeau moment. This is like the Elizabeth Warren pictures. This is like Trudeau just has aura, unfortunately. You literally cannot deny Trudeau's aura. If he's in blackface, aura. He's in some Indian garb, aura. Put this guy in one of those fucking Chinese outfits, it would be aura. Like, this guy's wearing a conical hat and having his, with fake buck teeth in, aura. You know, just, anytime I see Justin Trudeau in, like, another culture's outfit or dressed up in black, like, that's just base. That's just awesome, unfortunately.
Bullshit. I don't fuck with this. Is that offensive? Is that fucked up? I don't fuck with this. This ain't drip. This sucks. I don't think
I would like to. I wouldn't want to see Carney doing this for sure. I understand his hesitation here. I wouldn't want to see Carney do this. I wouldn't want to see Keir doing this. But Trudeau kind of, you know, it's kind of funny. You know,
the drip. Take it off.
It's like sort of Last Samurai, like, you know, like just like white guy in. Do you know what I mean? It's got that vibe to it. It's, yeah, white savior, you know, exactly. It's got that vibe to it. It just goes hard.
Calling it bullshit. Just say, there's a reason why our prime minister at the time,
he's out doing the natives.
There's a reason why he's wearing this bullshit, all right? And I'm just
gonna be honest. Trudeau and Black Panther.
I don't fuck with this. Is that offensive? Is that fucked up? I don't fuck with this. This ain't drip. This sucks. I don't fuck with the drip. Take it off now. Put on a suit and wear a poppy. You know, the tough part about this image, you guys don't know this. This kid right here, his name is Zav Trudeau. He is now a rapper.
Like, this is just based. This is awesome. How is this not awesome?
Anyways, I just think it's a little funny. Importantly, let's back this all up. Let's back this all up here, okay? These new immigrants, let's just call it what it is. They're outbreeding us, okay? They are outbreeding the black Canadian. They are outbreeding the white Canadian. They're outbreeding the Arab Canadian. They're outbreeding the Italian Canadian. We can't keep up, all right? These motherfuckers have they have not had their breeding abilities nerfed, okay? All of us have been nerfed, all right? All of us can't do it. They have the breeding buff.
You've been around the microplastics for too long. That's the problem. Once the Indians have been around the microplastics for a few more years, they'll slow down.
We're getting fucking out demographicked, okay? A, we keep importing them. B, they have babies, bro. What are we gonna do? People are seeing their country become unaffordable, whether it's housing, whether it's food prices, whatever inflationary thing you want to talk about. And they are also seeing it demographically shift. And whether or not you want to accept it, okay, whether or not you want to say, well, no, they're just like us, okay, they're just the same, they're going to have their own interests. They're going to vote for things that they care about that you probably don't. They're going to vote for things that they like that you're probably not okay with. And now that we have a massive number of this group inside of the country, this group has babies at a higher rate than essentially any other Canadian group. You're going to have politicians that have to appeal to them more and more. So yes, idubbbz, to answer your question, people are scared of immigrants and they should be. Politicians are going to appeal to them more and more. The buying power of your money, your ability to live in an affordable home, it will continue to go down unless things are changed. I understand the perspective of saying, I want all humans to have the same opportunities. I want all people to be able to get their chance to prosper. But when it comes at the cost of my ability to prosper, when it comes at the cost of my neighbor's ability to prosper, it incites...
Okay, it doesn't though. You don't... Wait, why does he think he's losing based on immigration? Okay, well, I need to run this back.
And completely changing the cultural makeup of a town. One of our biggest issues here in Canada is housing. The fact that we don't build houses, and the fact that we have so many fucking...
Okay, but the answer, you need to build housing. That's the thing, right? The issue with that, I would assume, is probably the issue with basically everywhere else, which is like NIMBYism. The people don't want their property value to be affected by a bunch of new houses being built. All the people that already own houses are the ones that vote. They're involved in their local government and shit, and all the planning permission has to go through a bunch of local government, a bunch of fucking property developers and shit. I would assume it's probably the same issue in Canada as it is in most of the US and UK. Okay, I hear this about fucking London as well, and then it's just like, is it even true? All the housing is owned by people who don't live in Canada and they rent. Is this really like a thing? So all this shit where it's like, oh yeah, the thing is though, like half the real estate in London is bought by Chinese people. No, okay, you're saying, Spalding's saying it's like 10%. I believe that over all the people saying yes, unironically. Show me some fucking evidence or make an actual statement on the facts. Don't just say some retarded shit you feel like you've heard. It was, but banned a few years ago. It's way lower than 50% and always has been. Yeah, that's. I would believe that. Almost the whole way. Yeah, all this shit where you guys are saying stuff like, oh, it's money laundering, BC real estate. Oh, there's Chinese people buying the apartments. You're fucking retarded. Fundamentally, there just isn't enough supply. You need to build houses. I would put fucking. I would put my whole fucking savings on it right now. That if I looked into this, fundamentally the issue with Canada's property market is that there isn't enough supply, and not any shit about fucking speculative buyers from foreign countries or fucking money laundering in BC or whatever the fuck. I guarantee I would, if I went and looked into it, 100% that is the issue. They cannot build houses. It has never. What do you mean you can't build houses? I've never seen a house be built. It is impossible. What? You've never managed to increase the supply. Okay, man. Okay. You just can't build houses. No, sorry, why did I think of that? You actually can't build that. We can't build houses anymore. That's the problem. These days, you can't even build houses. These days, you literally can't even build a house these days.
Israel is
I swear, literally, you are mentally retarded.
It is a country in the Middle East. They've done some good things. They've done some bad things. Among the good things, I'd say, is this banger.
Yeah, you need more problem blocks, true.
As you guys know, this song is...
So, next Chleepy video. My stance on Israel. So, he went from... white people are awesome to my stance on Israel.
That's absolutely banging. Can't complain with that. That is a banging track. But, you know, there's other things that they're not so good at. For example, keeping Palestinian people alive. I wouldn't even say that they're not good at it as much as they kind of just hate doing it. Like, they really like to do they really like to they be attaching toe tags to Palestinians at an alarming rate. Like, I'll put it this way. If the Middle East is O-Block, Israel is like King Von, okay? Bombing on niggas left and right. And as somebody that doesn't necessarily like the death of a lot of people, okay, I don't like it when many thousands of people are being killed. I personally don't like what Israel is doing right now, okay? You know, last week I'm browsing Twitter and I'm watching a video and I'm like, wow, like I'm seeing these Palestinians get this dead journalist out of a blown up hospital and I'm like, wow, that's like so sad. And halfway through the video, another missile hits and I'm like, huh.
Tank shell. It was a tank shell, actually.
See from what we're looking at. Okay, this is a group of men. I'm not going to play the video because I don't want this to get age restricted. This is a group of men, and they are trying to, you know, get a journalist who has unfortunately been injured and potentially passed away. They're trying to get his body out of the wreckage, as you can see. Not much of this hospital is still standing. So after this hospital gets hit twice, okay, one of those missiles being captured on camera, what do you think? What do you think Israel said about this? Tragic mishap. Okay, sorry guys, those two missiles back to back on a hospital. Tragic mishap. Won't happen again. My bad. And so you start thanking. What exactly is the consequence for these people when they repeatedly bomb hospitals, when they repeatedly kill civilians, to the point where since October 7th, 64,000 Palestinians have been killed? You got to start asking, what are we going to do about this? You know, is anybody going to give these people consequences? Is any country, United States maybe, going to stop funding this? Okay. Can we cut ties with this crazy country that is ethnically cleansing a region? The answer, of course, is no. We could never, okay? Nobody. Don't you know Israel has the right to defend itself at all times against the babies, the children, all of it, okay? Nuke the hospitals now. Now, look, before I give my opinion on Israel, I want to make it clear I am not racist, okay? I am not anti-Semitic. My favorite people on YouTube, some of my favorite creators are Uish, okay? Flesh Simulator, noted Uish person. Kuihman, noted Uish person. Aiden Underground, noted Uish person. Gokinaru, noted Uish person. And of course, Brian Tyler Cohen, noted Uish person. Now for my stance on Israel. I feel like it was
really Brian Tyler Cohen's one of your favorite creators on YouTube? Brian Tyler Cohen kind of sucks, no?
Silly to put the Uish state, okay? I'm not saying it's necessarily...
Brian Tyler Cohen is pure, like, dem slop. It's pure dem slop. It is, like, literally, Trump just did the craziest thing you've ever seen. Like, it's, like, endless. Like, it's the treadmill. It's, like, the endless dem slop treadmill. You know?
Wrong to have an Uish state. I think it's totally fine for them to have a country because obviously post World War II, you're probably like schizoed the fuck out. Like, holy shit, they almost squad wiped us. Let's get ourselves a country. But like, why would you put it in the Middle East? Like, you think they fuck with the Uish people? And also, like, people lived there. There were like people living there. You disrupted so many people. You've had to kill so many people. Even today, okay, the last 2 years, we've been seeing incredible numbers coming out of Israel, okay? Insane. King Von-esque numbers. Now you're probably asking, Chleepy, like, where would you have put them? I think Alaska. I think it would have been fine because listen, think for a second, okay? Why do you put them in the Middle East? Maybe you want to give them some oil. Alaska's got that. Maybe it's because you want to give them some space, okay? Alaska's got that. And I mean, the Uish people have succeeded to a tremendous degree in the United States, okay? Like, insanely. They've done so well, and good for them. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing well. So, obviously, you could imagine they do well in Alaska as well. Like, look, I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not a Zionist. I don't necessarily think that they have to have a country. But I mean, if they were going to, you know, why not put it, you know, in Alaska? Like, who are they going to beef with out in Alaska? That's what you got to think about with Israel. They are on fucking go mode. All they want to do is smoke people, okay? I don't know why, but they just love smoking Arabs, okay? So you got to think, how can we prevent the smokification of an Arab? And I think Alaska's probably
there's no Arabs in Alaska.
You end up with videos like this.
We need to kill Arabs.
The way they are represented are as the problems and threats. And since they never or hardly ever meet...
That seems a bit problematic. I'm just saying. None of that would be going on in Alaska.
Nurseries.
Can you look up the Jewish Autonomous Oblast Lamau? It's exactly what this guy is talking about.
Russian Autonomous Oblast. The Jewish Autonomous Oblast is a federal subject of Russia in the far east of the country, bordering Khabarovsk? I don't know. Krai and Amur Oblast in Russia. And the Chinese province. It's administrative center in the town. Okay, yeah. Aishangtong. That's the Chinese province, okay. Wow, awesome. Although Judaism as a religion ran counter to the Bolshevik Party's policy of atheism and their crackdown on organized Jewish communities by closing synagogues and harassing believers, Lenin also wanted to appease minority groups to gain their support and provide examples of tolerance. In 1924, the unemployment rate among Jews exceeded 30% as a result of USSR policies against private property ownership, which prohibited them from being craftspeople and small businessmen, as many had been private prior to the revolution. With the goal of getting Jews back to work to be more productive members of society, the government established Komzat, the Committee for the Agricultural Settlement of Jews. The Soviet government entertained the idea of resettling all Jews in the USSR into a designated territory where they would be able to pursue a lifestyle that was socialist in content and national in form. The Russians also wanted to offer an alternative to Zionism, the establishment of the Mandate of Palestine as a Jewish homeland. Socialist Zionists such as Borisov were gaining followers at the time, and Zionism was the favored ideology in the world's political economy to the Yiddish interpretations, which were essentially incompatible with the USSR because of the Yiddish movement's growing opposition to the very ethno-nationalism which had constituted and structured Soviet states. Crimea was initially considered in the 1920s when it already had a significant Jewish population. 2 Jewish districts were formed in Crimea and 3 in South Ukraine. However, an alternative scheme, perceived as more advantageous, put into place. Wow. Wow.
School all the way to the 12th grade. Part of that learning is looking at horrifying images or exercises that encourage students to put themselves in the shoes of the victims and relate to the experience. The identification of students with the victims isn't a coincidence. It's an intentional policy by the Israeli Ministry of Education. It's how you end up with a society where, according to one Israeli professor, every Jewish Israeli citizen is a Holocaust survivor or a potential victim of future Holocaust-like events.
The goal is traumatization and revenge, and not to let the fire of vengeance die out. However, this vengeance is not directed towards the German persecutors and their collaborators in Europe, but towards Palestinian colonized subjects who are Nazified.
Okay, I gotta stop watching this. This is crazy. Listen, the point I'm trying to get across to you guys is that this whole Israel experiment, I don't think it's working. Okay, a lot of people are getting fucked up here. This is not good. Like, as long as they have those sorts of policies and they've got Satan at the helm, it's gonna be tough. Also, I can't stress this enough. This isn't about what religion or what ethnicity you are, okay? I really don't care if someone is Jewish or if they're Arab or whatever the fuck. The reality is you've got a problem here. You've got one country that is absolutely kneeling, and I'm talking like a Floydian kneel on the fucking wait, it would be a chauvinistic kneel on the Floydian neck, okay? It's not good. We cannot allow this. All we have for now is edits of Luka Doncic, okay, cooking Israel, okay.
Yeah, the right triangle shit is so stupid, man.
Yes. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you've enjoyed this Chleepy video on...
Dude, that was it. Dude, there was way more politics than the last one. That was awesome, though. It's cool. It was so cool that Chleepy is going down like the Great Replacement. It's very awesome. I remember vaguely entertaining the idea of the Great Replacement when I was like 15. Who's cooler, Chleepy or Parry? I mean, Chleepy's obviously cooler. Guy's gonna kill himself, by the way. Parry's on watch right now. Dude, Parry earlier was so desperate for fucking attention. He was so fucking desperate for attention. Literally walked back the claim. I saw him do it as well. I saw him go into fucking Discord. Types in chat, Plastic Beach is 90% filler. Obvious retarded bait comment, like just desperate to, you know, throw something out that people argue with. Timed out for 24 hours. Immediately goes into Discord waiting rooms to try and argue. And I see him in Discord typing. Literally immediately walking back his argument. Saying Plastic, or just because I said Plastic Beach wasn't that good. You didn't just say it wasn't that good, you said it was 90% filler. It's obviously wrong, obviously retarded. Say it's 90% filler is literally fucking, like most of the songs on there are like some of the best songs I've ever made. So literally the most retarded thing you could possibly say is 90% filler. I literally just the most low IQ, desperate bait in the world. And he tried to come on stream to talk about it. And then he thinks he can come on stream. Take up time on my stream to talk about that. Okay, man. Okay. Not happening.